Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Bluegrass again today with me, your host, Steve Farnau. Thank you all for dropping in and tuning into our channel. Today, we are going to be talking about something fairly serious, which is real estate scams. For most of us, buying a home is the most important and the biggest financial purchase that we will make in our lifetime. And we want to make sure that we protect ourselves from the various types of scams that are out there. So today, we're going to cover some of those. We're going to walk you through some of those potential pitfalls and hopefully help you avoid any real estate scams as you look to buy your next home. So to kind of give you a rundown of some of the potential scams and what they're called, how they're known, we're going to cover fake foreclosure scams, phantom listings. We're going to talk about security deposit scams. We'll also kind of touch on the title fraud scam, the bait and switch scam. So there are a number of ways that people will try to steal from you. And it's always just so disappointing when you hear about people who are being taken advantage of in any way. But certainly through this process, which can be an emotional and stressful time for folks, to have people out there trying to prey on innocent people during the home buying process is extremely frustrating for me as an agent. It's something that I've experienced at the closing table. Make sure that you are prepared and protected so that you do not fall prey to any of these scams we're going to cover today. And what I want to kind of preface all of this with is that if you are buying a house without a certified licensed real estate agent, I really do believe that you are putting yourself into a higher degree of risk than if you're working with a qualified agent. So please take time to research agents, find one that you trust and that you want to work with, and make sure that you are trusting them and working with them to help protect you from these. So the first one is phantom listing. And with that, these are properties that have either already been sold or don't even exist at all, but they're still listed for sale. This is the kind of thing you may even, if people are buying something sight unseen or from out of state as you move somewhere, this is the kind of thing that can be very, very risky. You want to make sure that you are working with an agent to go and preview these homes, make sure that they are actually on the local MLS. A lot of times this might be something that happens with a for sale by owner sometimes. There may be a house that somebody has access to that they can, act like it's for sale, put up some signs, get somebody interested, and then the next thing you know, you've put in your earnest money check and it's gone. Be very careful here. Make sure that you are working with an agent and that this property does exist and it is not some sort of mystery house that is not really there. And the other side of this too is people trying to sell empty lots. You have an empty lot. Oh yeah, we're going to buy that. Next thing you know, it's not really for sale. It's not even a real place. So be aware of that as well. So next up is the fake foreclosure scam. And this is one where someone will pose as the owner of a home that's being foreclosed. Oftentimes it's not even being foreclosed on or isn't for sale. You think you're getting a great deal. We're going to sell it at a discount. It's foreclosed. We've got to get rid of it. The bank needs their money. And the next thing you know, you've signed a contract, you've put down a deposit, and then poof, they're gone. So this is one that if you're working with an agent, we're going to know if it's on the MLS. We're going to be able to check with the PVA, with the clerk, the county clerk's office, and make sure that this house is actually for sale when you're dealing with some foreclosed homes and things of that nature. There's a whole nother list of things that you should be aware of that your agent will work with you to make sure you navigate this without falling prey to the old fake foreclosure scam. So watch out for this one. Not too many foreclosures these days. We're at a much lower number than pre-pandemic numbers. They've started to creep back up a little bit to the normal average numbers of foreclosures, but we're still far below any of the foreclosure numbers that we saw before the pandemic. Next up is the security deposit scam. And this is something that is maybe more often associated with renting. You go look at a house, they, hey, yeah, we'll rent the house to you. The deposit is this amount. You write them a check. You never get the keys. They disappear. You never see them. You don't have access to the house. This is something that you have to be very careful with. Meet them at the house, sign the lease agreements, get the keys, make sure that you have those things before you are handing over your money. Protect yourself from this and always be very, very on alert when you're dealing with renting and that you're working with a good property manager or a quality owner in any situation that you might find yourself in. So another option or another potential scam we have to watch out for is the title fraud scam. And this is where someone has illegally transferred title or or claims to have title of the house to sell, but they don't. So what happens with this one, they may transfer or say they've transferred the property into their name and are trying to sell it. They've done so without the knowledge of the actual owner. And so they might take out loans. There's all kinds of things that then could happen. And you buy this house maybe, and you end up having all these liens against the title and a lot of different things that can cause you a lot of headaches after you close on a house. This is a great example of how you always want to make sure you have title insurance when you're at the closing table. This is an option. You want to make sure you have it. It will protect you from so many headaches, so many financial catastrophes that could put you in the line of fire if you don't have those protections. At the closing table, having a great closing attorney, working with a great title company to make sure that all of the due diligence has been done prior to closing is really important to avoid finding yourself in a situation where suddenly you're on the hook for big bucks for something that you had nothing to do with in the first place. Pay attention to this, watch out, get your title insurance at closing. That gives you kind of an overview of some of the most common types of fraud that you may encounter. And the last one that I want to touch on has to do with wire transfers. A lot of times, and the easiest way to move money around when you're dealing with the house purchase is to do a wire transfer of your deposit and your closing costs on the day of closing to the proper parties on either side of the transaction. And so in my personal experience, what's happened sometimes is folks' emails can be compromised. I had a client who thought that they were emailing me, but it was in fact someone that had a fake email that looked a little bit like mine. We think that the email had been hijacked through either the closing company or somewhere through their email. Someone had gotten a hold of my name and had a closely resembling email to it and told my client, oh yeah, you need to wire the money today to this thing. And so luckily, my client retyped the link that they had been given, and it ended up sending the money to a bank in Western Kentucky instead of in Russia or Africa or somewhere overseas. And after about 30 days and some conversations with the FBI, we were able to get the money back and close on the property. But when you are transferring money, you want to make sure that you are doing it at the closing table. Let the title company, let the closing attorneys make those phone calls and have direct conversation between themselves and the bank of your client who is transferring the money, and make sure that those things happen all on the day of closing. And make sure that when you are looking at emails, a lot of times that email may have a name, but if you actually click on it and open it up, it's a completely different email than what you may think it is. So please be aware when you're dealing with wire transfers that you are very, very careful. Let the title company, the closing table people take care of that for you so that you do not fall prey to some sort of wire transfer scam. It is a serious issue, and big bucks can just disappear like that. So make sure that you're on it and pay attention to that. But hopefully that is helpful. Hopefully that we've been able to touch on some things to make you aware of them, and just being aware of them can help you protect yourself. So buying a house is already stressful enough to not wanting to worry about these things. On top of it is something that we hopefully can help you put your mind at ease a little bit and help you with the process. But like I said at the beginning, work with a qualified agent. Make sure that you are doing the time, researching, find a great agent to work with, someone that you like and trust, and that's going to put you in a great position to buy your next home. So anyway, hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on Back in the Bluegrass with Steve Farnau.